The Big Game is sponsored by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you.
Coach, it is playoff time here at Lincoln. Just tell me about the excitement. Ever since you came here, this team has never missed out on the playoffs. Just your thoughts and getting ready for the playoffs tonight.
Yeah, had a slow start this season, but you know the kids have picked it up, and I think in all three phases we're slowly getting better and peaking at the right time, I think, and so we're excited for this opportunity.
How important is that? You say that, and it is a process, and it's a long season, but to be peaking at the right time right now.
It's huge, and we lost a good amount of seniors last year, so we knew it would take some time, but I'm just super proud of the kids for, hanging in there. We were 2-3, and, now we've won, I think, 5 in a row, and the kids are doing great, and I think they're feeling confident too.
Well, Coach, a lot of teams not playing tonight.
Yeah.
Playoffs are underway. It's got to be excited. Tell me about the challenge you're facing Lincoln on the road tonight.
I mean, it's a definite challenge. They're a great program, great team. They're a program that's consistently in the top 20 in the state. Obviously, they've got a great coaching staff that's been there for a long time, and a team right now with a lot of talent. And I think we're excited about that challenge because it's somewhere that we want to be. We've talked about playing meaningful games, not getting to the Week 10 where you don't have something to play for. We want to find meaningful football games, and that's been our challenge for our guys all year, and they're kind of stepping up to it and loving it.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the King 5, King Plus Big Game of the Week. I'm Chris Higgin, and guess what? It is playoff time. A lot of teams are done for the year. Not the Lincoln A's and not the Bulldogs from Mount Vernon as they face off tonight from the historic Lincoln Bowl in Tacoma, Washington. This will be a dandy tonight. Two teams, Lincoln A's 14th in the state. Mount Vernon comes into the night 25th in the state. Both teams 6-3. And joining me tonight a little bit later on will be Carl Hoseth, used to be the voice of the PLU Lutz football team, was a quarterback for the Lutz, now the principal here at Lincoln High. So we're going to be having Carl joining us tonight in the booth up above Lincoln Stadium. And let's get to the action now as this game is ready to get underway. The King 5 Big Game of the Week coming to you live on King 5 Plus. All right, it will be Mount Vernon kicking off. Mount Vernon in their road whites, white pants, white tops, with their green helmets, and it will be the Lincoln A's with their yellow pants and black tops, black and gold helmets. Masaki Matsumoto, the head coach of the Lincoln A's, as you see him down there, he is one of the best in the business. As he mentioned there in the pregame warm-up, the Lincoln A's have not missed out on the playoffs since Masaki Matsumoto took over. Came here in 2015 from Los Angeles. State semifinals in 2019. And they will have the ball first. They'll be going from right to left on your screen. Winner moves on into the state playoffs. The loser is done for the season. Lincoln A's began the season with a loss to Franklin Pierce, then took out Yelm, then lost to a very good Camas team, then knocked off Gig Harbor, Silas, Bellarmine Prep, lost a tough one to Mount Tahoma, got victories over Central Kitsap and Timberline, and here they are tonight, 6-3. Mount Vernon, led by Jake Whitman, who we just heard there. Jake Whitman played at Mount Vernon. His father was a coach at Mount Vernon, and he has his team in the playoffs for the first time since 2019. Mount Vernon 6-3, win over Mariner, a win over Marysville Getchell, lost to Burlington Edison, had a win over Ferndale, win over Snohomish, win over Oak Harbor, lost to Cedro Woolley, and then took out Stanwood and lost to Shorewood. But here they are tonight. Mount Vernon, once again, they'll start on defense tonight in their whites. Lincoln, gold pants, black tops. And it is our honor to bring to the booth tonight on this King 5 Plus Big Game of the Week, brought to you by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you. Former quarterback for the PLU Lutz, was on the national championship team for the PLU Lutz, went to Washington High School back in the day. Carl Hoseth also was the voice of the Lutz for several years after your days at college. It's good to have you here, Carl.
Oh, Chris. It is great to be here. It's great to see you. Thanks for being here at Lincoln Bowl. And this is a kind of a dream to be able to do a game with you because we just haven't had that match up like that before.
Well, Carl Hoseth, now the principal at Lincoln High, been here. Is this your third year, fourth year?
Oh, it's fourth, Chris.
Number 4 for Carl
4.
Hoseth. Also spent some time at Franklin Pierce High School, Silas High School. Did I miss any in there?
1 year at Washington and 17 at Spanaway Lake.
17 at Spanaway Lake?
Yeah.
Wow. And then you went Franklin Pierce after Spanaway Lake?
Right after Washington. 1 year at Washington, then Franklin Pierce.
Okay, here we go. 3rd down and 9. Lincoln going to the air. And the catch is made right there. That's Elijah Carney with the catch. Siona Cajo, the quarterback. And, Carl, tell me a little bit about this young man because he is getting a lot of hype out there, Siona.
Yeah, Sione, he's gotten a lot of offers. This is his junior year, but as a sophomore, basically any school on the West Coast offered him. Oregon, UW, Arizona State, BYU. So he can really throw it, and he's had a good year this year too.
All right, so it will be 1st down and 10 for the Lincoln Ames. Playoff football. And Jadion Scranton gets the carry there, and he's had a pretty good season so far for Lincoln. Picks up a couple yards on that one there.
Jadion, 5 touchdowns on the ground last week.
Last week alone?
Yes, all by himself. Big King 5 touchdowns.
And, Carl, as a former quarterback for the PLU Lutes, Mount Vernon is going to throw 3 in the front, 3 linebackers, and then they're going to put 5 defensive backs out there. Jake Whitman says we love to let our athletes play, go after the ball. Your thoughts on that formation?
Yeah, well, what it looks like to me, too, is they just don't want to give up any big plays. They don't want people to get behind them, so they're going to play soft, and we've had a few different pass receptions underneath. Yeah. Elijah Carney also is a big name that has had some offers, which, of course, when you're a sophomore and you get an offer, it's all just, it's not official.
Sure.
So, but he's been injured a little this year, was walking around in a boot a while back, but he's back now.
He's looking good tonight. Elijah Carney already a couple catches tonight. Sione Cajo, the quarterback for the Lincoln Ames, in the shotgun. He's got plenty of time. Nice little pass, but that is picked off. And that is Baker Driver, who is the leader on this Mount Vernon Bulldogs defense. And it looked to me, Carl, like had the pass a little high, the cold conditions, wet conditions, ball got tipped, and Baker Driver was right there from Mount Vernon to get a big interception.
Yeah, it seemed to go through the hands of Jadion and up in the air, and I think in big games and playoff games, turnovers really make a difference, so we'll see what happens.
Well, so here comes Mount Vernon with the ball for the first time. Their quarterback, number 10, Caden Anderson, one of the best in the state. He's been starting at quarterback at Mount Vernon for 3 years now. He's one of the top catchers in the state of Washington. He was on that Mount Vernon baseball team that won the state title last year. He throws a great ball. Nice little catch right there from Brady Peterson. Brady Peterson also one of those baseball players on that state championship team. So a lot of athletes out there. And, Carl, the other thing, talking with Jake Whitman about these players, I think there's 5 to 6 baseball players on this football team. They know what it takes in big games, in big moments, because they've been there before. They were on a baseball team that won the state title, but you're 1 out away from being eliminated in a lot of those games. So they know what clutch moments are about. We'll see if they can do it tonight. You win, you move on, you lose, the season's over, Carl.
Yeah, and nobody is expecting to lose. So all of a sudden it happens, and it's a shock, especially to the seniors.
All right, Caden Anderson leading the team. He's a big boy. Number 10, a lot of weapons. Jonathan Davis, Brady Peterson, Diego Salas, Lucas Romero, Henley Lopez, Gideon Hope. Just some of the targets he'll be looking at. He's got twins to the left, twins to the right. That's Salas in motion, so trips now to the right. Caden Anderson in the shotgun. He's got time. He throws, and nobody there in the middle.
There was some pressure up the middle, too. That was Anthony Mancow, who he has really had a good career at Lincoln. He was a starter as a sophomore. Now he's a senior. He's had a lot of pressures and a lot of sacks.
7:47 to go, first quarter, no score, coming to you from the historic Lincoln Bowl, home of the Lincoln A's. And we talked about it on the shows on King 5 TV. There's so much history when it comes to this facility. 1923, there was a Turkey Bowl in this vicinity, Lincoln versus Stadium. The right tackle for Stadium, a young man by the name of Herman Bricks, went on to play for the Huskies, helped them in the Rose Bowl game in 1926. 1928, Herman Bricks won a silver medal in the Olympics. And then after that, Carl, guess where Herman Bricks went? He went down to Hollywood, and he became Tarzan.
You know, I was listening to the podcast with Jason Puckett on the way back here, and I heard him then try to make a Stadium Bowl reference with the 10 Things I Hate About You.
This is not Stadium Bowl.
I mean, come on.
This is not Stadium Bowl. This is Lincoln Bowl, 1948 in this same venue you're looking at right here. Washington State, the Cougars took on Penn State. Penn State won that game 7-0. Maybe the biggest moment ever here. September 1st, 1957. Elvis Presley was down on that field performing. Pass is a little short right there. He was looking for Jonathan Davis. Underthrew him, but nice defense there from Ramon Jones.
Yeah, so Ramon and Tyrone, they're twins, they're seniors, and you'll see them out together quite a bit in the defensive secondary, but they also return kicks. Both of them also on the second and state track team in the spring. Ramon was on the 4x1 meter championship relay team as well in 3A.
Ramon Jones, number 9, Tyrone Jones, number 3 for the Lincoln A's. And looks like we're going to get an early timeout here. 4th and 11. Want to make sure these playoff games, Carl, that it just takes sometimes one misplay and things can go the other way. So you want to just make sure everybody's tight. Taking a look there, we got big game Mike Perry on the camera, and he had a good shot there. Masaki Matsumoto, you've had the pleasure to work with him. Everything we've heard about him is it's pretty incredible. We talked to him before the game. He says we don't focus on wins. We focus on making these young men better in the community. Just some great stuff from Masaki Matsumoto, or as we see him right there.
Yeah, this is year 30. Oh, Chris, it looks like they may be going for it here. That's why the timeout.
Okay.
With 4th and 11 on their own 35, or maybe it's a quick kick. We'll see.
We'll see here. 4th and 11. Caden Anderson. They appear to be going for it. Maybe they see something up top of the booth that they like. Caden Anderson,
There's
pretty good
the quick
athlete.
kick.
Yeah, he could punt it away too, and that's exactly what he does. And correct me if I'm wrong, Carl. I believe you used to be would drop back and do some punts back in your PLU days as well.
You are wrong, Chris.
I
I never did that, although probably dreamt about it. I held some kicks for PATs and field goals, but I never actually did any punting. But from your neck of the woods, Puyallup, Washington, Mark Weekly, he was a quarterback/punter for, I think, all 4 years that he was at PLU.
One of the best in the business. When you look back at PLU football, if Carl Hoseth, the name sounds familiar, his father, Paul, was the defensive coordinator for so many great Loot teams through the years. And it kind of goes full circle, Carl, when we were talking about Masaki Matsumoto. He actually played at King's High School, and his coach there, Jim Shapiro, who you played with at PLU, both under Frosty Western. And it was, as I was listening to Masaki talk about his philosophy, there was so much Frosty-isms in there. You see that as well?
Yeah, he's just done an amazing job, and this is year 30 for me in a high school, and 5 different high schools, and I did coach a little as an assistant coach in high school, but there's never been a program that has been close to what he does, not only on the field, but he really just has a huge impact with kids in the hallways.
All right, Lincoln with the ball for the second time. Interception on their first drive. Mount Vernon forced to punt on their first drive. So here we go, 6:12 to play, first quarter, no score. Sione Cajo, the quarterback for the Lincoln A's. Up front, you got big old Julian, Owe, Isi, Anthony, and A.J. Burns, your offensive lineman. Jadion Scranton loves to go to him. We've seen a lot of Elijah Carney already. 3rd and 4. Big play for the A's here. Handoff Scranton. And he's fighting. It looks like he got it, Carl.
at first it didn't look like he was going to go anywhere, but he is a big guy. In the program, I think they only list him as 215 pounds, but I can guarantee you that he is probably about at least 15 or 20 pounds heavier. He is a big load, and not many have been able to take him down.
All right. Cajo in the shotgun. Scranton to his right. That will be a first down for the Lincoln Abes. Playoff football. Winner moves on to the state playoffs, the round of 16. Handoff Scranton. He's got some running room. Picks up 5, picks up 10. He's near another. I think he's there for the first down. I think he picked up 10.5 yards on that one. Another great run from Scranton.
Yeah, he's a big guy coming out now, but there's kind of like a little bit of fire and ice with a few of the backs. JT Williams that got a couple of the runs early in this drive. He also was a member of the state basketball team in the winter, number 12.
And I chatted with the basketball coach's mom, who says they're going to be a team to watch out for this year. They made it to state last year. Nice run right there. Good little pickup.
That's JT Williams again, the guy that he got more time at the very end of the year as a ninth grader, and he's been able to get a few more carries at the end of this football season, but he's a guy that I think will make a difference. And in reality, you're talking basketball, there was
no
zero seniors.
Yeah, that's what the mom told me. No
2
seniors.
juniors.
So
five ninth graders, 6 sophomores last year.
So the future looking bright. Unfortunately for JT, great run, but a flag is on the play. Looked like holding on Lincoln, so that's going to come back and bring up now a 1st and 15 with the ball right on the 50-yard line.
The second time that there's been a holding call on a running play in this first quarter on Lincoln.
The rains have stopped here in Tacoma. It was raining before the game, but looks like it has stopped for the night. Turning out to be a nice night in Tacoma, in the heart of Tacoma. Nice tough run right here. Picked up several yards there. JT Williams. And if you can see in the back of the helmets of the Lincoln Abes, and I believe this goes back to the days when John Kitna took over as the head coach here at Lincoln, he wanted this team to really be proud of where they're from. So they put 253 in the back of those helmets, and it's good to see the 253 is back there. And if John Kitna is listening or watching, we miss him. He's definitely one of the greatest alumni to ever come out of here. Quarterback. Went to Central Washington, played in the NFL, Seahawks, Cowboys. Throw in another name, Lawyer Malloy, another pretty good little alumni here. In fact, I know when John took over, they built the weight room and the Lawyer Malloy weight room. Is that still there?
Yeah, it's still there. Mural outside, a couple of the jerseys inside. The two of them played together. I think they're maybe 1 year apart. John Kitna is a year older, I believe. But, yeah, that was a pretty good duo to have on a team back in the early 90s.
All right, 3rd down and 2 for the Lincoln Abes. Trying to get something going here. No score. First quarter of play. Cajo in the shotgun. Hands it off. That's going to be Scranton, and he is gone. Jadion Scranton with the touchdown run right there. Got some big blocks from his big boys up front. Jadion and Casey Williams doing a little chest bump, having some fun. And that's Essie Mendoza?
Yes. Yeah, leading the Haka out there, and he had a good block. There was a huge hole. I mean, Jadion can run through tackles, but there wasn't anyone within about 3 yards of either side.
Yeah, some great running right there. And so with that in mind, the Lincoln Abes, not the Mount Vernon Bulldogs, it's the Lincoln Abes who are on the board. It is 6-0 Lincoln over Mount Vernon. We'll get that fixed for you if you're watching from home. And the extra point is up, and the extra point is good. So with 3:03 to play in the first quarter, Lincoln leads it 7-0. Nice little run there from Jadion Scranton.
And you're asking a little bit about Sione. When Lincoln played Mount Tahoma here, Andrew Luck came to watch the game, and he was just standing right behind the goalpost and then behind the the end zone, and so I went down to talk to him a little bit, and really kind of interesting how he's then become like the general manager of Stanford football, and Sione has received an offer from Stanford as well. But he was really great to talk to. Nice to just, hear from him and what he's doing, and also just kind of nice to know that he's happy with what he's doing and that he's healthy and not worried about getting hurt.
Well, pretty cool when you get to see Andrew Luck on the sidelines of your high school field, and you've had some pretty good stars come out of here. Carl Jabari just helped Oregon State get a nice win over Oregon State. Or he's with Oregon State, helped them get a win over Washington State. Great quarterback here.
Yeah, at the time he was the number one quarterback in the state of Washington and got a scholarship to Missouri and then ended up transferring to Oregon State. And he got a lot of playing time the game before and led them to the victory, and then helped with that. He got the start against Washington State, so that was really fun to watch.
All right, the King 5 Big Game of the Week brought to you by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you. If you're just jumping on, it's actually Lincoln leading right now 7-0. We're getting that fixed up on the graphics department. Mount Vernon, now obviously, Carl, you grew up in the South Sound, went to Washington High School, Pacific Lutheran University, but you have some relationships to the Mount Vernon community. Your wife went to Mount Vernon High School along with her entire family.
Yeah, she's a proud grad of Mount Vernon, 1989, and so I did have a chance to spend some time in Mount Vernon for a while after we got married, and did some fishing in the Skagit Valley. Caught some humpies on the odd years of 95, 97, 99, and I don't know that I've been fishing since in the 21st century, but yeah, both her sisters graduated from Mount Vernon, and at the time there was some rich storied history with basketball too, and Mark Hendrickson led back-to-back state champions in the early 90s over there.
Mark Hendrickson, one of the great alum to come out of Mount Vernon. Of course, pretty good little baseball player as well, and I had the it was just a fun trip. We went up to Mount Vernon last year before the playoffs, and Coach Tony is one of the best in the business up there at Mount Vernon, and was able to sit down with a young man by the name of Xavier Nyans, and top baseball recruit in the state, and Tony and X, just pleasure to sit down with them to talk about Mount Vernon High School, talk about the baseball history up there, and couldn't be any classier. Had a great visit, and then it's hard, Carl, because I can't root for teams because they're all in our viewing audience. Yeah. But when I left there, I'm like, I really want this Mount Vernon baseball team to win a state title. But I can't say that. Well, I'm saying it now, just because I fell in love with the program, Coach Tony and Xavier and the rest of the baseball team, and then they went on last year and won a state title. Pretty special stuff. So they're riding high up in Mount Vernon, and they have a reason to be. And we'll see the football team down 7-0 early here. Lincoln in the lead.
You've got to keep saying that Lincoln's up.
Well, now we've switched we just need to get the coloring. We get the coloring right. Big Game Ryan is working on it, I'll tell you that. He's working on it over there. We'll keep you posted. Lincoln does have the lead, 2:50 to go here. And it is Caden Anderson, talking about baseball. He lets it fly. He's got an arm. And not much room there. And Ramon Jones has been great in coverage so far for Lincoln.
Yeah, he's played really well all year in the defensive backfield. He's gotten a handful of interceptions, and he can really run with people, and he's physical, and then also does some kick returning. So that was a good series for Lincoln. And like you said, that you can't be cheering for one team or the other. I'm trying real hard to be at least not incredibly partial, but inside
you're the principal of Lincoln High.
It might start coming out a little bit more here.
Maybe I'll be more biased, and Coach Tony will text me some Mount Vernon updates, and maybe we'll get your wife on the line as well. And I do need to give a shout-out, by the way, if we're talking Mount Vernon and the great Skagit Valley area. One of my tennis doubles partners at Pacific Lutheran University was Dave Benson, Dr. Dave Benson. Grew up in the great city of Bow. They had a bed and breakfast up there. I remember going up there during college. We stayed with Dave and his brother Brian at the Benson Bed and Breakfast in beautiful Bow. And I know they live up there, and they're great to the community. So for some reason, if the Benson boys are watching right now, big shout-out to them. We had some fun times back in the day at PLU.
Well, even when you reference Mark Hendrickson as a good baseball player, he was a 6'9" left-handed tennis player, too, for Mount Vernon. And
tough to lob those guys. I did love to know how the Benson boys did against him back in the day. All right. Lincoln up 7-0, looking for more. Quick pass. Not much going there. Nice defensive play there for
Eric TG Boy.
That was Gideon Hope with the tackle, and TG Boy with the reception.
Yeah, and another sophomore, and there's a lot of guys that'll mix in different play spots in the slot, and he's a quick scat back kind of guy that has been able to get some catches here recently.
All right, handoff. Nice pickup there.
It's Emmanuel Jordan, who we hadn't seen at the moment, but he's got some speed too.
You warned me about this. He's mixing up a lot of. He's bringing in a lot of different backs. We were told Scranton was going to do a lot of the work, but that's number 5 now getting some carries.
Yeah, that's Emmanuel Jordan. A couple of weeks ago, we had a 75-yard touchdown run by Jordan, and then like a 73-yard touchdown run by Scranton.
And there he goes. Yep, there goes Jordan up the middle again. Picks up a couple yards, so that will bring up a second down. Now, I like this, Carl. That's my high school color, purple there for the Lincoln Aves. Bring it the Puyallup Viking purple. Speaking of, I don't know, Carl, if you had a chance to see them. The playoffs are underway tonight. Puyallup was playing Kamiak, and already a score in. It's 21-0, and they're only 5 minutes into the first quarter. That could
Kamiak?
be – no, Puyallup. Yeah, that could be one of the – Puyallup's going to be a tough out in the 4A ranks. This is the 3A ranks. Right now, there's another school not far away from here in Lincoln that's looking pretty good, that being Mount Tahoma. They're having a good season right now.
Yeah, last year, both Mount Tahoma and Lincoln, we got to the quarterfinals of the state playoffs, and we were on the same side of the bracket. So had we both won, we would have played each other in the semis. And one of the Tacoma schools would have went to the state championship, but it didn't happen. So neither of us ended up advancing to the semis.
Well, Masaki Matsumoto, ever since he's been here, they've never had a year where Lincoln has not been in the playoffs, trying to punch their ticket to the state playoffs. Great little run right here, picking up some running room, and there's a flag down. More than likely, that's going to be a holding. It looked like it was behind the play, but nevertheless, the flag still comes out.
Yeah. And I was not watching what the official was watching, so I can't really comment exactly. But you hear people say all the time that you could call holding on run plays every time if you want. So that's now the third time that we've had a first-quarter holding penalty on a good run. And Jadion Scranton had another, 20 yards on that run?
Scranton may end up with 100 rushing yards in this game, but probably 300 when you take away the penalties. And another holding call, so that's going to bring up a third and about 14 for the Aves. 27 seconds to roll here in the first quarter. They're going to try to get one more playoff, possibly. Or he could let the clock run out. It looks like they're going to go ahead and make the play here. 3rd down and 14. Clock ticking. Cahoe looks to the sidelines. Will he take the snap? Yes, he does. He's going to go to the air. He's got some time. Runs to the right side. Lets it go. Pass is complete to Scranton. And he's close to the first down on that one.
Definitely gets the first from my angle, Chris.
From your angle.
Yep.
Well, you got a good angle because it looks like the chain group is going to be moving. So, big pickup there. 14 yards for the Aves after the first quarter. Lincoln leads Mount Vernon 7-0. You're watching the King 5 Big Game of the Week coming live on King 5 Plus. Carl Hoseth, Chris Egan will be right back for the second quarter.
The Big Game is sponsored by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to the King 5 Big Game of the Week. Carl Hoseth, Chris Egan coming to you from the Lincoln Bowl. There's the big board right there, Carl. Do you like that?
That's perfect, yes.
Hey, I appreciate you for helping me with all the pronunciations. So far, 7-0 Lincoln. Your thoughts on the first quarter?
Yeah, I think that the run game was really established by Lincoln, and we'll see how that mixes up with the pass game here in the second quarter.
All right, let's get to the action. Second quarter just underway here. Lincoln leads at 7-0, and Lincoln has the ball. First down and 10. It is Cahoe in the shotgun. Now moving from left to right on your screen. That's Eli Malafu.
Woo-hoo!
Eli Malafu is into the end zone. What a play right there from young Eli. Shaking and baking his way down the sideline, and that is a touchdown for the Lincoln Ames. He put some moves on there, Carl.
And he is physical, too, so he's kind of one of those slot guys that isn't going to go down, and he loves hitting when he's on the defensive side. And, Chris, you might not have this in your notes, but he is the cousin of Sione Cahoe.
Oh, I did not have that in my notes. That's why we're paying you the big bucks, Carl.
I'll try to pull out some other nuggets, too, in the second quarter.
Well, we talked a little bit about the weapons on this team, and Elijah Carney being one of them, and Scranton and J.T. Williams coming in out of the backfield, and then you see what Eli did right there. Just got a nice throw from Sione, and then made his moves, and he was gone all the way to the end zone. And just like that, the Lincoln Ames lead at 14-0.
And that's the thing, too, with some of those, like, extended handoff kind of things, bubble screens, that if you can get out there and you break one tackle, you've got some speed, you're a little bit physical on that first tackle, it can turn into a big play, which it did right there.
Going back to your PLU days, that you'd see a lot of that from Frosty's offense. Where you guys would go trips to the left, you'd have a lot of options, a lot of bubble screens and plays like that.
Yeah, although when you say Frosty's offense, it kind of ended up turning into Scott's offense.
Scott Westring's offense.
So he would just try to be creative. But he did a lot of, like, underneath screens and wide receiver screens, and tried to be creative with spreading people out and getting some mismatches. And that happened quite a bit with back then it was a little bit less common to have, like, trips on one side and a split end on the other, or we would sometimes have 4 receivers on one side, and that just wasn't happening very often in the early 90s.
Nice little shot there of the Lincoln drum line, the Lincoln band. The drum line is one of the best in the business, putting on a show tonight. A cold and the rains are back, just to let you know, raining again here in Tacoma. It's interesting, listening to the forecast tonight, they were saying isolated showers across the state. It seems like they're isolated always where I'm at.
Yeah.
Because 2 weeks ago they were isolated on me at Kentwood. Last week isolated on me at Enumclaw, and they're isolated apparently here at the Lincoln Bowl again tonight.
Who's the weather person that's saying all of that?
I'm not going to throw any names down. Right. I'm not going to take anybody out, but I will say it's a light rain. This is not an atmospheric river tonight.
Sounds good. You referenced the drum line, and they are fantastic, and they get invited to go everywhere in the city to perform. And the mayor of Tacoma, Victoria Woodard's, a proud Lincoln grad, had her final State of the City address here at Lincoln in the auditorium, and she requested that the drum line come and perform before her speech.
All right. Caden Anderson trying to get the Bulldogs back in this game. Jonathan Davis has been one of his big targets this season. Would like to see Anderson somehow find Jonathan Davis, number 2 for the Bulldogs, get him moving a little bit here. But right now it's been all Lincoln Ames up 14-0. Mount Vernon trying to get something going on offense, but Lincoln's defense has been pretty tough so far.
You know, the defense has played really, really well the last few weeks, and in like back-to-back games, they held the team under 70 total yards, and so they've really stiffened up.
I mentioned Jonathan Davis. He doesn't drop a lot. He dropped one there. He's got his pink gloves on tonight. Jonathan Davis comes into this game, 32 receptions, 600 yards, 12 touchdowns. So he's had a great season so far for Mount Vernon. Look for Lucas Romero, to make some plays as well. 26 receptions for nearly 300 yards. So we'll see. So far it's been tough sledding for Mount Vernon. 3rd and 10, down 14-0. But Caden Anderson, he can get things rolling in a hurry. Completion percentage of nearly 70%, over 1,500 yards in the air, 18 touchdowns. He's rolling, he's throwing, and just a slip and a fall right there. It is loose conditions. By the way, I like to see that. The Lincoln player helping him get up right there.
And great first name, too, with Carl Jackson.
Carl Jackson going both ways tonight, offense and defense.
And you referenced this before, Chris, with the 2-5-3. So the team has really embraced that, and so sometimes they'll do some chanting on the sideline with 2-5-3. And there are some jerseys too, some home jerseys. It doesn't say 2-5-3, but it just says Tacoma across the chest. So there's a lot of 2-5-3 and Tacoma pride.
And I would argue that the 2-5-3 extends into the greater Puyallup area as well. So it's just not Tacoma.
I was just shifting from proud to be from 2-5-3 than even more proud maybe from Tacoma.
Oh, my. It's funny, Carl, you talk about the 2-5-3 because I actually remember, I believe it was 2019. My brain is full of so many facts and figures, so correct me if I'm wrong. You already have tonight. 2019, I believe Lincoln made it to the state semifinals, and they went up north to play Eastside Catholic, a team that had G. Scott, a team that had several great players on the Eastside Catholic team.
All within a 50-mile radius of the school.
Sure. They played it, I think, at Sammamish High School, but I remember it was a great game. Place was packed, and it got exciting when they started chanting 2-5-3. Lincoln scored, and it was just like 1,000 people going, 2-5-3, 2-5-3. And then the Eastside Catholics, I don't know if they knew to go 4-2-5, 2-0-6, but they did not have a reply to that. And here comes Scranton again. He's a good little runner. He's been fun to watch already tonight.
And I wouldn't – little is kind of in quotes.
Sure.
But because he's got some thick legs too, and he really is a physical runner. And then you'll see if there is short yardage situation, instead of the tush push, they just decide to have Scranton go back in the shotgun, and he's going to kind of be wildcat and just go right up the middle.
All right, 14-0 Lincoln Abes. 2nd and 3. Handoff. Scranton takes it, fighting for the first down. He may be about a half yard short. Nice tackle there. Hunter West on the tackle for Mount Vernon. That's going to bring up – they're moving the chain, so –
Definitely, Chris. That was
I must have a bad angle from up here.
An obvious first down from my spot.
You know, you get older, Carl, the eyes start going a little bit.
Yeah, I know. But
apparently your eyes are not. Your eyes are
at least
great.
on first downs, I can pick that up.
All right, 1st down and 10. Handoff again to Scranton. And look at him go. He's fighting. He went through about 3 to 4 tackles right there. And I'm not going to say he's short of the first down because I think he got the first down, Carl. Another great run.
Yeah, and just talking about the eyes, I did not bring my glasses up here, and then I printed off the roster from my computer with like size 8 font, so I don't even know that the roster is going to be helpful for me. I'll just try to do it by memory.
Well, I'll say Essie Mendoza is he's paving some ways up there for the A's. He's a big boy. Number 53. He's providing some holes. Another handoff, another big run. I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Because just keep running the rock at this point, right?
Just keep giving it to him until it gets stopped. And you referenced Essie, so I was doing an English classroom observation 6th period today. Happened to be at the same table as Essie, as he and his partner are discussing Shakespeare and puns in Shakespeare, and so it was really kind of cool to hear his take on some of the different prose that he was reading and how it kind of connects to some modern day language.
Carl Hoseth, one of the best in the business, principal at Lincoln High, giving back to the community so much. You've touched a lot of lives, and I know there's a lot of kids here that, you've made a huge difference at Lincoln High, so we thank you for that. Thank you for joining us tonight in the booth, and Just a pleasure to have you up here. Here they come. 2nd down and 4. Cahoe in the shotgun. He's going to hand it off to Scranton. No, he's going to throw. And that was a rocket. He was looking, I believe, for Casey Williams on that one. And nice defensive play there from Isaiah Polanco.
So, Chris, I just want to say, like you were referencing me with Lincoln, but Lincoln has the most incredible students. We've got great staff, but it's just, I love being there because the rich history, tradition, culture, it's just a wonderful school, and I'm so glad that you're able to be here.
All right, 3rd down and 4. Handoff, J.T. Williams. He's going to be short of the 1st down. I'm sure Masaki will go for it. Referencing, as we talk about history and tradition, we talked about Mount Vernon and those baseball and basketball teams. Mark Hendrickson, the basketball team won in 1991 and 1992, back-to-back state titles in basketball. And also, how about this, 1990 and 92, Hendrickson's sophomore and senior year also took home baseball titles. It's a pretty good run.
Yeah, I didn't know that piece, but I knew about the basketball piece. Okay.
Pretty good.
He can run for it.
And he's got some running room. He's got a 1st down and some change. Flag down, though. You can pretty much say holding, and you're more than likely going to be right. That's going to be, I believe, the 4th holding call on the Lincoln Abe's tonight.
Yeah. All have hurt. I think nearly all have been like a 1st down and then get brought back.
Scranton scrambling for no, that was actually Cahoe scrambling for the 1st down there, but coming back, which will set up a 4th and long. So
a quick Mount Vernon basketball. Hendrickson's sophomore year, Tim Caviezel was a senior, and he had a scholarship offer to UW. And they played in the state championship game that season, too, and lost to Battleground with, like, Michael Brotherton, I think, at Battleground. So 3 years in a row going to the state championship but winning back-to-back.
Caviezel boys, pretty good athletes back in the day, too. One of them became a pretty good little actor.
Yeah, his older brother, Jimmy.
Who I played golf with once with the Heward boys. And Jimmy, what do we got there? Another flag on the field, Carl. That's why we bring you in here to sort all this out. Not sure what's going on here. We got flags all over the field. Lincoln was punting the ball. We got ball boys in the middle of the field. All right, let's see what the officials are going to talk things through.
Pretty good punt too. There was a good chance to be able to down it inside the 5, but just kind of let it squirt into the end zone.
Do you guys still, does the wife get you back up to the Mount Vernon area?
We have not been there for a while. Her parents moved, a while after, and then I think the last time we went was her 30th class reunion.
There was a good shot there of Mount Vernon. Speaking of Mount Vernon, their head coach Jake Whitman. And last week we were in Enumclaw, and Coach Gunderson, coach at Enumclaw, took over in Enumclaw. His dad was a coach there, and Jake Whitman's dad was actually a coach back at Mount Vernon back in the day. So he said he's very proud about carrying on this tradition. He's been pretty much at Mount Vernon his entire life, spent 2 years with Stanwood High School, but now back as the head coach. They are having their best season since 2019. That was the last time Mount Vernon was in the playoffs. Caden Anderson, great catcher for the baseball team, very good football player as well. Nice handoff, nice run right there. And that is Diego Salas with a nice little carry there. And Mount Vernon trying to get something rolling here with 5:28. They've had some tough sledding on the offensive side of the ball so far.
Yeah, and then being able to get the start of the drive at the 35 with the touchback and then a 15-yard penalty was helpful for them. And I think that's their best run so far this first half.
Tony Wolden, by the way, my Mount Vernon insider, the baseball coach, tells me he was the catcher for Mark Hendrickson back in 1990. He was a sophomore. Tony was a senior. And they beat Sela in Yakima in 1990. There you go.
There you go. Sela, there was a couple of PLU tennis players.
Is it the Sela Seagulls?
I don't know. The Seahawks, I think.
The Seahawks?
Oh.
The gateway to Yakima. Welcome to Sela. Yeah, I believe Sela also, and this is one of those random facts, I believe that's the home of Treetop Apple Juice.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, you're not going to grab. And there's a nice play right there. Caden Anderson trying to get this offense rolling. Nice pass, nice catch from Brady Peterson. First down for Mount Vernon.
So you referenced Lawyer Malloy, and I went to a UW-WSU baseball game in the mid-'90s, and Lawyer Malloy was playing baseball for the University of Washington. And he got hit by a pitch, and he was starting to go to first base. The ump called him back and said, no, you didn't try to get out of the way. And Lawyer Malloy was so mad, and then the next pitch he hit it over the fence for a home run and just ran around the bases in an angry way. So he was not only a good football player but a great baseball player.
Well, and then his daughters have turned into sensational softball players. Pretty much every one of his daughters playing college softball or has played college softball at a very high level. So
how come they didn't go to Lincoln?
Well, I think they're up north, okay. Carl. Yeah. You know, I went to Puyallup, and for some reason my kids go to the rival Rogers High School. So sometimes you just let your kids go where they want to go. Yeah. Second down and 9. Mount Vernon, twins to the right. Single slot in motion. Brady Peterson. Caden throwing wide open right up the middle, and that's a Henley Lopez is gone. Henley Lopez. And just like that, Mount Vernon is back in this ball game. Caden Anderson, a little misdirection there. They had Brady Peterson in motion. Lopez right up the gut, and Lopez, somebody missed some coverage on that one. Wide open for the touchdown.
It looked like two guys went with the motion man. There was nobody in the middle of the field, and unfortunately a big play for Lincoln. We'll see what happens in terms of how they can respond.
Henley Lopez came into this game 17 catches, 172 yards, 1 touchdown. He now has 2 touchdowns on the season. The tight end for Mount Vernon makes this a 1-score game. The kick is up, and the kick is good. And just like that, we've got ourselves a ball game here from Lincoln Stadium. And there they are, the Mount Vernon cheer squad making the trip. Ready for a snow out here. Got to be prepared. Got their ski gear on tonight. Got to give them a big shout out, the Mount Vernon cheer squad. That's a long drive. That's a long drive from Mount Vernon. That's a long day. So kudos to all the fans over there from Mount Vernon making the trip out for this playoff game. I'm sure there's a lot of people inside their homes tonight in Mount Vernon watching for free, Carl, because that's what we do.
There you go.
King 5 TV, 75 years ago. First broadcast on King 5 TV was a high school football game.
Huh.
Here we are, 75 later, the only TV station in Seattle providing you with high school sports. And this is what I say, Carl. You're an administrator. It's easy for stations to come to schools when there's negativity. King 5, the sports department, wants to be there when there's good times happening as well. So that's why we're here tonight.
About, Chris. Yeah, and thank you to you.
It's not. It's the whole King 5 group. Shout out Tony White, Joel Knipp, Ariel Rosudo, the maestro Paul Sylvie. I mean, he's been there. Paul, I've been there 25 years. Paul's been there like 35 years.
Trying to onside kick. Somebody better get on it. That's good.
We have some great photographers, photojournalists. We have Mike Perry on the camera tonight, who's one of the best in the business. Tate Miller is always out there with us. And the late, great, and I mention him because he was everywhere, Alan Reed, who passed away, was one of the strongest advocates of high school sports. He would go out on his days when he wasn't even working just to get these kids on the air, and loved covering high school sports with Alan for over 20 years, and we miss him a lot, but we know he's up there shooting high school football somewhere. So big shout out to Alan Reed. All right, Lincoln Ames, they lead at 14-7, 3:05 to play here, second quarter. Carl Hoseth, Chris Egan, Phillips Law Firm, big game of the week. Let's see if Lincoln can answer right back, and why not go back to that run game because it's been so effective tonight, and that's Jadion Scranton with the carry.
And just kind of piggybacking on what you said with just trying to highlight high school sports. When we were in high school, there was a lot of just newspaper coverage too, and you could get in the local newspaper different things, a prep section, and then that started to go away. And so it is really just it's nice that you're doing this and that King 5's doing this for local sports.
Well, I mean, Carl, you work with these kids every day. The kid, it's tough out the social media that they have to deal with. There's a lot going on out there for these kids. It's not easy. I know there's people out there. Oh, come on, Egan. It's the kids are kids. Now it's different nowadays. It is different. They're battling through a lot, and anytime we can shine a light on some positivity things, it's good for these kids because these kids work hard, and it's from the drum line to the cheerleaders over at Mount Vernon making the trip here to all the football players and coaches. You gotta spotlight the good stuff.
Yeah, and I think you make a good point that I'm sure every generation can talk about things that were difficult, but it is different when things are just being blasted out there on social media, and hopefully there's some ways to combat that with some positivity because it is hard for kids, and we've got a lot of good kids at all these schools.
All right, it's going to be Scranton with the carry, and D'Angelo Arlano with the tackle. Jesus Montoya also in there helping out. So Mount Vernon's defense getting a little stingier, not giving up as many big runs. So it's 3rd down and 8. Lincoln started this quarter with some huge runs, 10 yards, 10 yards, 11 yards, and now Mount Vernon's defense tightening up a little bit here.
Well, they did actually get a first down that was called back with a penalty again, so that's probably like the 5th time that's happened.
Catch is made, breaks a tackle. That's good enough for the first down. That's Elijah Carney. I got to believe the spot's a first down, and it is. Elijah Carney made the catch, broke a tackle, got the first down. Great play right there.
Yeah, he's had a pretty big first half. Casey Williams on the other side, number 4, you've only called his name once when he didn't catch the ball. It just kind of, it wasn't his fault, but it went over. But he's been a great receiver for the last 2 years for Lincoln as well, so we'll see if he can get his name called.
All right, first down and 10, 1:14 to play. Lincoln, a little shovel pass. That was nice. That was a great little play. Little Patrick Mahomes style right there.
And that's something new that they put in here just recently. So that was not something that we saw a ton early in the year.
Scranton gets a little shovel pass there from Cajo. And that's going to bring up 2nd down and 3. 48 seconds and counting. Time's ticking. And they're going to take a timeout. Mount Vernon's going to take a timeout. And we're going to talk this thing through here a little bit, Carl, as we get ready for this final 48 seconds and change here. Mount Vernon taking the timeout. 14-7. Lincoln has the lead. 42 seconds to roll. And, Carl, right now, if you're Lincoln, you've got yourself 2 timeouts remaining. What do you want to see from this offense in these final 42 seconds?
Yeah, Sione, you can put it in his hands. I mean, he can kind of spread the field, look around, get it underneath. You've got an opportunity to get a timeout. Also in high school football, of course, the clock stops if you get a first down. So I just let him kind of look to see where he wants to throw it. He's got the skills, and he's a real smart player, too.
All right, let's get back down to the field here at the Lincoln Bowl as we get ready. Final 42 seconds of the second quarter. Lincoln leads at 14-7. Mount Vernon taking the timeout. They still have 2. Lincoln with 1. So let's see if Sione Cajo goes to work here. He's got Scranton in the backfield. 42 seconds on the clock. Looking, he has time. He has plenty of time. Throws, and a wide open Elijah Carney with another big catch for the Lincoln Abes.
He had a few different options. He had Casey Williams underneath and then a wide open Elijah over the middle.
All right, time ticking, 30 seconds to go. Lincoln still has a timeout if they want to take one. They're going to take Scranton right up the middle, and Scranton is in for his 2nd touchdown of the night. That one set up with a nice catch from Carney. But just like that, it's 20-7 Lincoln. Mount Vernon made it a one-score game. Lincoln came right back and did some damage.
Yeah, and I think that there was a real nice mixture, too. You mentioned it earlier that there's been a lot of yards on the ground, but then in that particular case, too, Sione's going to be able to pick apart a zone defense, and he did.
So if you're just joining us here on the King 5 Big Game of the Week, second quarter, Lincoln extra point away from making this 21-7. Kick is up, kick is good. Jadeon Scranton had a touchdown in the first quarter. Got his second touchdown there in the second quarter. Eli Malafu with the touchdown catch. And it was Henley Lopez with a big touchdown for the Mount Vernon Bulldogs. And that's where we're at right now with 24 seconds to play. It's Lincoln 21, Mount Vernon 7. And Masaki Matsumoto's got to be happy with the way his offense responded there, Carl.
Yeah, I'm sure that he's happy with the response, and I think he's probably wanting to clean up some of the penalties too, so that it's not it's tough when you gain yards on a play. It looks like you're getting a first down, and then it comes back to like 3rd and 13 or something like that. But I think that the Lincoln offense has responded well, and they did have the early turnover. But outside of that, they pretty much, moved up and down the field. I don't know who's doing our stats for the first half, Chris.
They're up and around.
All right, so
we just do our own stats.
It's like 247 yards offense.
The budget hasn't provided a statistician yet. We're working on that.
Okay.
I thought my 14-year-old son was going to do it for me this year, but he just seems to have other things going on his Friday nights right now. 24 seconds ago, that is the voice of Carl Hoseth, principal here at Lincoln High, former football player at PLU. Did broadcast with the who was the play-by-play guy with you?
Oh, it was Steve Thomas,
former
Chris.
voice of the Seahawks,
yes,
correct?
He had 6 seasons, I think, with the Seahawks. It was immediately after Pete Gross. I'm not sure if it was 6, but it was close to that. And we did it together, I think, for 13 years. Our first year was the 99 season when PLU won the national championship in Division III.
You guys had some good runs together, that's for sure. The Lutes won several national championships. You were on one of the national championship teams.
Yeah, the 93 team, and then on 2 runner-ups in 91 and 94.
All right, Caden Anderson, 16 seconds. He's going to throw.
Oh,
look at this.
Somebody got to get
Look at this. And getting a little tricky. Why not pull all the tricks out of the bag right now on this night? And that's exactly what Coach Whitman is doing. Brady Peterson gets the flip and picks up some yards. 7 seconds to go. Mount Vernon still has timeouts to use. So, Caden and we've got a flag down. Great play call, though.
Yes, great play call. And yeah, definitely, Chris. It was they're going to have to bring that one back. I have actually thought that it would be somewhat smart to be able to have the hook and ladder in the playbook, that you use it not just in situations like that, because it really changes just all the angles. People just start to converge on where the ball's thrown, and if you can pitch it back, I've seen so many teams be able to do it when you're kind of looking for something like that, that you could do it earlier in the game maybe. Well,
7 seconds on the clock. They have a timeout. I'm telling you what, Jonathan Davis, number 2, he's an athlete. He can burn. I'm telling you, look for Caden Anderson to go deep here. They're not going to. Well, never mind. Apparently, the clock was a runoff there.
Yeah, they ended up winding the clock. The white hat was doing it. I think. They didn't realize that.
Well, all that just goes down the tube here.
It's good speculation.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about it, Carl. As we look at the first half of play, seems like Lincoln running the ball at will, and they get 2 rushing touchdowns in that first half.
Yeah, and the thing is that Jadeon Scranton, I don't have his stats in front of me, but one of his coaches was telling me that he had 20 touchdowns on the year, somewhere in that neighborhood, and I know he had 5 last week. He's just a real tough physical runner, and then you saw some kind of change-ups when you brought in J.T. Williams, who's quick and shifty, and then Emmanuel Jordan had a nice little run, and he's pretty fast. So all three of them had some nice carries. Sione once tried to run. I can't remember if that got called back with a penalty, but he has the ability to run too if there's some open space. So you think perhaps with a 4-star quarterback with Sione that you're just going to be throwing the ball a lot, but quite often there's been some running that will then kind of open up the pass.
Okay, take the black and gold off and put some green on now and go into the Mount Vernon locker room at halftime. What do you want to see from Mount Vernon if they want to get back in this game down 21-7?
Yeah, I think they're going to have to try some different things, and that's obviously what they're doing. Like they tried an onside kick, figuring that they needed to do something to get a little bit of a spark. I might see them going on 4th down, even where it doesn't appear like it's an obvious spot where you would go for 4th down. And then that hook and ladder, that was a really great play, and would have put them in a position. I don't know what their field goal kicker is like, but to potentially get 3. So, doing some different things, trying to mix it up a little bit.
By the way, this is fun. If people don't know this, Carl Hosteth actually joined me in 1991 when I was a freshman at PLU. I started a show called the Loot Sports Profile, somewhat inspired by coaches Frosty Westering and Coach Mike Benson, to go do this show, and I asked you if you could do a segment with the football team. Carl said yes. That was 1991, 92, 93. We had a good run. It's awesome to be back in the booth with you tonight, so I appreciate it. I'm going to let you, if you want to go out at halftime, make sure all the students are good here. I'd love to have you back for the second half because it's been fun. We've got the plays of the week coming up. That's going to be coming up after the break. We're going to take a look down on the field and see if any activities going on. I know the band's keeping warm, though. I'm not sure they're going to the field tonight.
Should I show them the shirt, Chris?
Yeah, show them the shirt. Why not? We're live on TV.
I don't know if you can see it. There it is.
The Loot Sports Profile.
It's a better looking shirt than some shirts I got just 3 years ago.
So that was the show I created back in the day. We had yourself, Allison Grande, and an Emmy Award winner on the show as well. What's special about that shirt to me is we talked about Alan Reed, photographer at King 5 that passed away. That shirt was done from my brother Brian, who passed away 2 years ago. He was one of the sponsors. Northwest Embroidery sponsored it. I had my own pizza sponsor. I went out, I promoted the show, I got sales for the show, recruited people like you, and we had a blast and just a fun time when you think back of those memories back then.
It was great.
Unfortunately, we can't find the video because it's all on VHS tapes. But all right, Carl, you go get yourself some hot buttered popcorn. Love to have you back for the 3rd and 4th quarter. We'll be back with the King 5 plays of the week.
The Big Game is sponsored by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you.
Welcome back, everyone, to the historic Lincoln Bowl in Tacoma, Washington. Playoff football is underway. The King 5 Big Game of the Week brought to you by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you. Tonight, it's the Lincoln A's, 6-3, taking on the Mount Vernon Bulldogs, 6-3. At the half, Lincoln leads it 21-7. 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing touchdown. Mount Vernon gets on the board with a big touchdown throw, Caden Anderson to Henley Lopez. So that's where we're at right now. A couple plays of the week nominees there. That Henley Lopez touchdown, that could be up for plays of the week. And then you got to look at Eli Malafu. He had a great catch and run down the sideline in the second quarter of play to give Lincoln their second touchdown of the night. Speaking of the plays of the week, there was a lot of them last week, and here he is, Paul Sylvie, with our plays of the week.
Number 10, Graham Kapowson and Puyallup. Vikes on the reverse. Jaden Woodland goes 33 yards for 6 in Puyallup's win. Number 9, Interlake and Bellevue. Offensive lineman Adam Neff and Eric Fang make a hole for Raylan Witherspoon, and the Wolverines running back is gone. Number 8, Highline and Inglemore. Vikes quarterback Hudson Cowan to Zach Eubanks. He's got 2 defenders chasing him, but they're not going to get him. Good looking play right there. Number 7, a double dip from Hazen and Lake Washington. The Kings, Ronan Holmes gets through the line and escapes the grasp. He goes a long way for the first of his 2 touchdowns. Number 6, Hazen counters with its own big play. Leah Tuali Savini, his own 20, breaks through the line. He's got 1 man to beat, and there he goes. Home free on an 80-yard touchdown. Number 5, Lake Stevens and Arlington. Eagles had it rough. We're not going to leave empty-handed. The toss to Dircy Nagando at his own 35 makes everyone miss, cuts it back, and he's gone 65 yards for a touchdown. Number 4, Stadium and Tahoma. The Bears with some trickery. Skylar Noose, lateral, pulls up, fires to a wide-open Gavin Steiner. Halfback pass for 6 in Tahoma's win. Number 3 for the big game, Enumclaw and White River. Great defensive play by Blake Bargelt. Trips up Enumclaw's quarterback, and the ball is loose. Scooped up by Brad Burbank. Leads to a convoy to the end zone. White River wins it 21-14. Number 2, Seaholm and Archbishop Murphy. On the punt, the Wildcats' Cole Sievers takes it around the 45. They can't get a hand on this guy. Sievers motors 55 yards for a touchdown. And at number 1, we go back to Lake Stevens. Quarterback Blake Moser puts on a show, fakes the pass, slips the tackle. Oh, this guy's a magician. He tries to hurdle another one on his way to the end zone, and the win.
And there they are, the King 5 plays of the week. If you want to rewatch those, you can go to King 5 Sports on Instagram. They are posted there every week. Some great stuff right there. One of the plays I thought should have been the play of the week, wasn't even on the top 10, was the hog trailer. The offensive line from Enumclaw coming out last week at a hog trailer. And sometimes I guess you don't need to be a play of the week. That now, if you go on, speaking of Instagram, you go on there, it's got over 2 million views on social media. Check it out at Chris Egan 5 on X, or go to King 5 Sports on Instagram. Some great stuff on there all week long. So Paul Sylvie with the plays of the week. Great stuff there. Thank you very much, Paul. And make sure to watch Paul this Sunday night, the 5th quarter, coming to you after the Sunday Night Football on King 5 TV. Paul Sylvie, the Hall of Famer Walter Jones, and Steve Rabel will break down the Seahawks-Arizona Cardinals game. That comes to you on King 5 TV. And speaking of King 5, tonight, as you're flipping around looking for high school football, let me just go ahead and give you some words of the wise. You don't need to flip around anywhere, because King 5 is the only station that will have high school football tonight. Dario Arsuto will have the highlights, and I'll have the post-game reaction from the Lincoln Bowl here as Lincoln and Mount Vernon square off. Winner moves on to the state playoffs. And how this works, if you're wondering, like who would Lincoln play, who would Mount Vernon play? Well, on Sunday, they have a committee, and that committee will get together and they'll seed them. They have RPI rankings, the WIAA RPI rankings, so one seed would play the lowest seed and so on. So Sunday night, the brackets will come out for the 4A, the 3A, the 2A, the 1A, and the Bs. And so every game throughout the season, very important, because that impacts your RPI ranking. Coming into this game, Mount Vernon, with their RPI ranking 25th in the state. The Lincoln A's, they were 14th in the state. So that's where we sit as of tonight. Whoever wins will pick up some notches in their RPI ranking and so on. So when we return, it will be the second half of the King 5 big game of the week. Lincoln leads Mount Vernon 21-7 from the Lincoln Bowl. We'll be back for this. Everybody, the King 5 big game of the week coming to you live on King 5 Plus. Chris Egan coming to you from the Lincoln Bowl in Tacoma, Washington. Lincoln Abe 6-3 taking on Mount Vernon 6-3 at the half. It is the Lincoln Abes who lead it 21-7 is your score. We talk about this Lincoln Bowl and the history here. 1948. 20,000 fans packed into this stadium to watch Washington State take on Penn State, a defensive battle. Penn State won on that day 7-0. And then it was in 1957, September 1st, at this very stadium, Elvis Presley performed right here at the Lincoln Bowl. Some pretty amazing stuff, and we've seen some amazing stuff tonight as the Lincoln Abes, they lead it 21-7. Their head coach, Masaki Matsumoto, has been coaching here at Lincoln High since 2015. Every year since he's been here, the Lincoln Abes have made it to the playoffs, and it looks like they are closing in on punching their ticket to another state playoffs, but Mount Vernon's going to get inside at the halftime and shuffle on in there and try to get things going. Jake Whitman, a great coach for Mount Vernon. You know, he's talking to his team right now about what are some things we can do. They need to try to attack and get the offense rolling. They have a great quarterback in Caden Anderson, and we expect to see some big things from him here in the second half. So we're going to get closer here to the start of the third quarter. The Lincoln Abes are back on the field. Mount Vernon back on the field. A beautiful night here tonight. Carl Hoseth joining us tonight in the booth. He has been just phenomenal to have him with us here in the booth. Looking back at that first half, Jadion Scranton, 2 touchdown runs. Eli Malafu, great touchdown catch. And then it was the tight end, Henley Lopez, which got Mount Vernon on the board. And here he is. He's back. He's talking to all the students hanging out down there. And we got special guests everywhere right now. Let's bring her. Should we bring her on? You want to introduce her or bring her on in?
Yeah, let's. You want to come and talk at all, or? The biggest fan of the Lincoln Abes is Masaki's mom.
Masaki's mom.
Yeah.
You want to join me real quick? Come on in here. Okay. We want to bring her on in here. Come on. You brought a special guest, and I don't even know what you brought for us here.
Lemon and honey. It will take 3 days to make this.
Hold on, I'm going to give you Carl's headset real quick. I want to hear you. Okay. So tell everybody your name real quick for us.
My name is Keiko Matsumoto. My son is a head football coach, Masaki Matsumoto. And all the players wants to have this lemon and honey.
Lemon and honey.
So I will make 40 cups.
40 cups of lemon and honey?
Every week, and during the summer, they go to 707. I will bring this.
I want to tell you now, we do not get enough time to thank the parents of great coaches and great players. I can't thank you enough for your son has been just a shining light on Lincoln High. I know he was in Los Angeles as well, coached down there. Great young man.
Thank you so much. He will be happy to hear that.
Well, he's got a very proud mom, so thank you for joining us in here. We got a little lemon and honey. I appreciate that. That's going to help Carl's voice in the second half. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, let's get back down to the field here for the second half here. I mean, that's the great thing about the big game. Lemon and honey. Carl, that's going to be for you.
I got some lemon and honey at Gig Harbor too, Chris.
You did?
Yes.
During the fishbowl?
Yes. No. The Lincoln Gig Harbor game.
Lincoln Gig Harbor.
Yeah, and saved the Tupperware for later as well.
Well, coaches have met with their players. We'll see what happens here. As you mentioned, it's the playoffs. You win and you move on. You lose and the season's over, so you're going to bring out everything at this point. Yeah,
and then it also it gets reseeded. So over the weekend, they determine with the 16 teams left how they're going to seed them and who's going to go where and who's hosting.
Mount Vernon came in 25th in the state, Lincoln 14th in the RPI. What I love are these kids, and they ask me about the rankings. And Mount Vernon with the ball, nice little return right here. And that's the start Mount Vernon wanted, and good return there. But you go on and all these kids are, I shouldn't say kids, there's adults starting these Instagram accounts where they're deciding to rank the teams on their own, and people call me, Egan, what about this ranking? What about that ranking? I'm like, it doesn't matter. The only ranking that matters really is that RPI on the WIA site, because I'll see these rankings where they got Puyallup 1, Eastside Catholic 2, and I'm like, you have 3 different classifications in one ranking. So, but, you know, if you're supporting high school athletics, then I'm fine with it, I guess. So.
Well, and then sometimes the reseeding can get completely changed, too,
Sure.
and that happened in basketball a couple years ago.
Okay, that's Caden Anderson with the handoff. The run game has not really been there tonight for Mount Vernon. Those big boys up front, Venny, Anthony Mancow, Gideon, Kayvon Cooks, they've been tough to run through. Look at Gideon. He's tough to run through Gideon.
He's been great all season. He just stuffs holes. He's kind of a nose tackle and just takes up a lot of space and does a wonderful job.
And Mancow's not afraid to show the belly. He's going to come at you.
And why wouldn't you?
I mean, that's old school football. I love that. All right. Brady Peterson in motion. Caden Anderson throws, fires into double coverage there. He was looking, I believe, for Henley Lopez, but Ionitis Kidiona. How was I on that one?
Pretty good.
Close?
Yeah.
Ionitis Kidiona?
Yeah, Ionitis.
Ionitis.
Yeah, and he's been just a real tough outside backer the last 2 years and really runs to the football. And there's a lot of these guys that are on that outside that make it difficult for like a hook curl zone, and then they can play the run as well.
All right, brings up a 3rd down and 9. Mount Vernon with the ball. Start of the third quarter, down 21-7. Caden Anderson at quarterback. Diego Salas to his left. Anderson throws. Maybe a misread there with Jonathan Davis. Elijah Carney was in on the coverage.
Yeah, it looked like quarterback thought it was going to be more of a hook, and the receiver was running a little bit more of a skinny post. And it might be one of those situations here, Chris, where they're wondering if they should go for it on their own 45.
Well, 4th and 9. And once again, we've seen this before. Caden Anderson can drop back and punt, but all signs point that they're going for it here. And they are. Pressure. Caden Anderson throws deep. He's got his man. Oh, and a nice defensive play at the last second from Ramon Jones. Looks like he just knocked it at the last second. Anderson was looking for Jonathan Davis, his top wide receiver, but Jones has been on point tonight.
Yeah, and it looked like he might have had a step, and then Ramon ended up just tipping it away at the last second. And as I mentioned, he was the lead runner in that 4x1 state championship relay team. 4 juniors on that team, Chris, although one ended up moving to Arizona. So there is a chance that they could repeat again this spring.
All right, so brings out the Lincoln offense led by Sione Cajo. And Carl, as you mentioned, this is a young man. He's a junior at Lincoln. He's getting a lot of looks from colleges around the country, isn't he?
Yeah, and in reality, I think, we'll see what happens at the end of this year, but like almost any top team on the West Coast has offered him. And I've seen the BYU offensive coordinator here the last 2 years, last year and the year before, and he was talking to me about how like he's basically at the top of their list, that they really want him. So I'm looking forward to seeing where he goes.
All right, 2nd down and 10. Sione Cajo fakes the handoff, throws, hooks up with Eli Malafu, and Eli had a touchdown in the second quarter. Picks up about 8 yards on that one. Going to bring up a 3rd down and 2. And you mentioned these kids, and there's been a lot of them at Mount Vernon. We talked about Xavier Nyans, the most recruited baseball player in maybe state history, ends up getting drafted by the Houston Astros. You've had a lot here at Lincoln, some heavily recruited kids. How do they handle that pressure? I mean, do they enjoy it, or is it tough for these kids?
sorry, Chris. Had a little bit of a mishandle of the shotgun snap, but so it's going to be a 4th and 2. Yeah, I think that's a good question because it's more of a new type of a thing that you were talking about, rating of teams.
He's got the first down there, Scranton.
But there's the rating of players, 3-star, 4-star, where they are. And even my first year here at Lincoln, the number 1 player in the state in football was Jaden Wayne. And he was recruited by the IMG Academy, so he ended up going to Florida to finish his senior year. And then they also took the number 1 player from Oregon, because I think they felt like they could graduate early.
First down and 10. Lincoln with the lead. Lincoln with the ball. Cahoe throws. Wide open is Casey Williams, who makes the catch. That should be another first down for the Lincoln A's.
And Casey's the 3rd leg of that 4x1 team, too. So, and he was the defensive player of the year in basketball. So he was just a hard-nosed, tough player in basketball that took the leading score and did all the dirty work. And so it'll be fun to watch him this winter.
I like to honor those kids because that was my job at Puyallup High.
Yeah.
Set screens, get rebounds. Scranton with another carry. And big game Mike Perry, if we can. Let's zoom in on 62 shoes there. That's A.J. Burns. Look at those. I mean, I like to see a big old lineman getting colorful with the shoes. Look at those.
That's a lot of colors.
That's a lot of. You know where A.J.'s at on the field at all times. It used to be just black or white shoes. Now, the kids got to get the colors there.
Or the colors of the uniform, but now it does not matter, especially in basketball.
No. 2nd down and 5. Lincoln A's with the ball on the 18-yard line. Throw. Elijah Carney with the catch. Hunter West makes the tackle, helps him up. The sportsmanship on both sides has been impeccable tonight. I love this, to see guys hitting them hard and helping them up.
Yeah.
It was the old Frosty Western way.
Yeah. And I think, that idea of you're going to play hard, you hope your opponent is playing well, and it lifts your both of your performances.
All right. 3rd down and 1. Ball in the 13. Kind of guessed that was going to happen. First down and some change. And how about this run? Are you kidding me? Jadion Scranton with the hat trick.
Just
almost didn't have the first down, Carl. Then out of nowhere, like Houdini, just came popping out of the box and into the end zone. Great run right there.
Weaving all over the place, and then eventually he just kind of waltzed into the end zone. But like you said, it was like, is he going to pick up the first down?
3rd down and 1. Scranton gets the first down and then finds his way into the end zone. And just like that, the Lincoln A's now lead it 28. Well, after the extra point, 27-7.
Not too quick.
I'll look down at my notes for a
Chris,
second there.
You jinxed them.
Well, Carl, if I had that type of power, I would use it more to help myself win the lottery. It wouldn't jinx a high school kicker, Carl.
It's all right.
It reminds me of a time I was like year 1 at King 5, and I was in the producer booth, and I was almost positive the kicker was going to make it, and the game was ending, and I told Paul Sylvie, they win, kick's good. And all of a sudden the kick goes up and it got blocked, and Paul had a talk with me after that sportscast saying, let's wait for things to be finalized, Chris.
Just 1 point off. But it was a good drive by Lincoln, and we'll see how things, how Mount Vernon responds and how the Lincoln defense responds at this point, too.
So Scranton now with 3 touchdowns on the night.
Unofficially 111 yards on the ground.
Well, I mean, you're the only statistician here, so. 3rd and 1, he gets in there, gets the first down, he gets the touchdown, 27-7. And now Mount Vernon is, you got to put something on the board here if you're Mount Vernon.
Yeah, I think they're going to probably need to try to do something that's a little bit different, a little bit of, some kind of trickery. something like using the motion that led them to that first only touchdown.
Well, Gideon Hope picks it up, and nice return from Gideon Hope. I think the tough thing right now, we talked about the leading receiver for Mount Vernon is Jonathan Davis, and he's been matched up with Ramon Jones all night long, and Jones has been all over him. So it's been a good battle over there, but right now Jones on the defensive side is winning that battle.
Yeah, and I think, Masaki has taken over the defense in terms of he's coordinating the defense, he's calling the defense. He had not done that the previous 3 years that I've been here, and they've gotten better and better as the season's gone on, too.
All right, Anderson hands off. Diego Salas, not much going there. Carl Jackson, the first one in there with the tackle. Little high five there to Ioannidis Kidiona. Several Abes in on the tackle. And once again, the run game's just been just not there on this night.
Yeah, and at this point, too, you got to wonder, when they're just going to start trying to air it out a little bit more. I think they were hoping to get something manageable on first down.
Second down and 11. Lincoln with the lead, 27-7. Anderson throws. Good little pass right there. Good catch. Couple yards picked up on the play. And that's going to bring up a third down and about 7. Ball on the 35. Ball on the 45. My apologies.
But for Lincoln, if you're able to just limit them to 4 yards on their pass plays and then sticking with third and long, that's what the defense wants.
All right, here we go. Caden Anderson, shotgun formation. Salas to his left. Anderson throws. It's a little high. Looking for Henley Lopez. And throw just a little high. It was Lucas Romero, number 20, that had the catch.
And this appears like a situation where they're going to probably have to go for it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're down 20 points, 6:25 to go in the third quarter. Season on the line. You got to go. We'll see what they do here. They got twins to the left, twins to the right. In motion is Peterson. This worked before where they found Henley Lopez down the middle. Caden Anderson, he's got some time on this one, and all of a sudden the pocket just collapses. Vinay Maava with the sack there, and he's fired up.
Yes. Vinny.
They call him Vinny?
Vinny, yes. Maava. And also on the play, too, looks like Noah Dennis is going to, maybe they get a little half sack with number 81. And I was referencing Casey Williams doing the dirty work, and number 81, Noah Dennis. When he comes in on the basketball, he is just all setting screens, all getting rebounds. So he's really doing the dirty work in basketball.
Assistant coach is Dodgers fans down there for the Lincoln Apes. Saw a couple Dodgers hats.
No, it's L.A., Chris. It's the Lincoln Apes.
Oh.
That's what that is.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yes, come on.
2-5-3. Okay. All right. Flag down. I think that's going to be a holding. I think Julian Symbol Archie may get called for a holding on that one. Lincoln with the ball. And sure enough, that's exactly what it was. That one's going to come back a little bit here. So, penalties keeping Mount Vernon in this game. I think Masaki and his staff, if they can look back, obviously they're happy right now with the lead. But as you move on in the playoffs, you've got to clean up things. And I think that's one thing they're going to look at, is we got to get rid of these holding calls if we get through tonight.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that, and it puts you in bad situations if it's 1st and 20.
Now, I will say this. Caho to J.T. Williams. I'll say this, Carl. Coming into the night, Mount Vernon 25th in the state, Lincoln 14th if you look at the RPIs. So more than like if Lincoln wins, if they go on and win, maybe they move up to 13th or 12th in the RPI, but more than likely they're going to be taking on a higher seed in the first round of those state playoffs, a 4 or 5 or 6 seed. As somebody that has covered a lot of high school games this year, the 3A in my eyes is pretty wide open right now. It is a nice throw, nice catch, well done right there. That was a bullet on that one right there. Gorgeous throw and a nice catch as well. That's Eric TG Boy.
Nice one. Yeah, and it was good protection by the offensive line, and Sione just stayed back there with a lot of calm presence and kept his feet underneath him and then threw a strike. That was a really nice play.
TG Boy starting to get in the action here. Nice catch from Eric TG Boy, number 19 for the Lincoln A's. First down, ball in the 16, 4:55 to play. Plenty of time for Cahoe. He throws, and he's got Casey Williams. Another great throw, another great catch right there.
And Casey, he's been getting in a little bit more of the action here in this third quarter. He's a guy that really made a big difference last year, more from the slot position. He's been outside as an X this year, and he's got some speed, and it looks like he's got some height on the corner that's up on him too. So we'll see what happens here inside the 10.
Sione, shotgun formation. JT to his right. Hard counting it. Hand throws. Incomplete. Ball hit the ground first. Like that Sione, though, a little jump throw.
Jump pass.
A little jump pass. Basically, though, Carl, getting back to, I think the three, I mean, I've watched Eastside Catholic, very good. O'Day, obviously good. Bellevue's very good. Mount Tahoma's very good. But all pretty even right now. So I think it's going to be an interesting 3A race this year on who can get through in these playoffs. It's going to be a fun one. Handoff, and J.T. Williams is into the end zone. We've seen Scranton, we've seen Williams, and Williams with his first rushing touchdown of the night, and Lincoln is starting to roll away here from Lincoln Stadium.
And as you referenced, Chris, I haven't seen any of those other teams except for Mount Tahoma. And looking at Mount Tahoma's, just their scores, they really took it to Camas early in the year, and they hammered Yelm. And so, they are undefeated. We'll see how they end up, progressing. And I think they're the number 1 RPI team in 3A. But, yeah, there's always good teams in 3A, but I just don't know what the separation looks like at the top tier.
Did you see there, Carl, how I held off on saying the score?
So what I was trying to do strategically is keep talking all the way through so that you didn't have a chance to jinx them twice.
Oh.
Do you want to have some of the lemon and honey too?
I don't usually eat things handed to me at ball games from.
Yeah,
but
well, I'll take it.
I trust it.
Yeah,
it's lemon and honey. All of a sudden I may not be able to talk the rest of the night.
Right.
But honey and lemon, is that just a power pack of goodness there?
Yeah, I guess. And what she told me a few weeks ago is that there was someone on the team that really liked it or wanted it, and then so it's just been a tradition that she's been doing for week after week.
As we wrap up our streaming edition of the King 5 Big Game, can't thank enough people here. In the booth tonight, you've seen an engineer to your left, Ryan, engineer to your right, Eric. We've had Andrew, we have Aiden, we have Big Game photographer Mike Perry out here, Kip and Olivia back in the station. There's so many people. Milt's back in the live truck. Milt Hightower, one of the best in the business. There's so many. I'm going to miss some names out there, but it has been fun this year, Carl. We've been doing the Big Game for 15 years. This is the first time we've decided to start streaming the Big Game, giving the kids live play-by-play. A lot of the kids go on Saturday and Sunday and watch it with their families, and it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of names, a lot of great stories out there. And hopefully we keep doing it. Hopefully we'll take it into the basketball season. I know you've been pumping up this Lincoln basketball team, so who knows? Maybe you and I will be in the Lincoln gym one of these nights doing Chris, some basketball games.
Yeah, that would be great. And Tacoma's had some really good basketball teams lately too. But yeah, I think that it's fun when you have every single kid coming back. We did lose one player that ended up going to Silas that was a starter last year, but it's going to be another good season.
I'm almost thankful that King 5 wasn't streaming basketball games when I was playing. I was a starter of a 1991 Puyallup Vikings team that had Damon Heward, went on in the NFL, a couple Super Bowl rings, averaged like 30 points in basketball, had Brandon Bakke.
I heard he never passed.
Never passed me the ball. Brandon Bakke went on to play at Fresno State. And this would have been my luck. In a district game against Kent Meridian, I was 0 for 10 from the foul line.
Ooh.
Finally hit one, and the gym went crazy as we won the game. I was 1 for 11. But the next week, I think we were playing Kentridge in a semifinal district game. And they're doing the national anthem, and they did do radio broadcasts back then. And the whole gym is quiet. And Carl Lambert and Ron Crow were the two announcers back then. The whole gym is quiet, and you hear them because they're talking during the national anthem, and they say, the only thing Puyallup's going to be hurt by is if Egan goes to the foul line again because he couldn't hit it. He couldn't hit anything. And I'm sitting there during the anthem just like, great, these two old guys are just mocking me.
Yeah. While it's quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank goodness King 5 wasn't streaming that game back then.
Yeah. Yeah,
fun
and the
times,
D-line, too, here is just, continuing to keep things on the other side of the line of scrimmage for Mount Vernon. So a lot of penetration there by Venny and Anthony Mancow and keeping it now 3rd and 10 on this drive.
Well, Mancow has been causing a lot of havoc up there. Nothing has been getting by him. 3rd down and 10, 34-7. Mount Vernon, as I mentioned, this is their best season they've had it since 2019. Great year this year. Good to see Coach Jake Whitman getting this team back on track. Caden Anderson, a state champion in baseball. Caden Sokol was a baseball player as well. He was a baseball player. Brady Peterson, wide receiver. He played for the Bulldogs baseball team. And Luke Romero, right fielder. So these kids know about winning. And on this night, they've run into it. And we're not over yet, Carl. I mean, there's plenty of time. But at this point, it's going to be some hard sledding uphill for the Bulldogs from Mount Vernon.
And not a whole lot of offense so far in this third quarter for Mount Vernon. And this actually, I think, is the first official punt formation that we've seen from Mount Vernon.
Oh, a little. And this is.
Oh.
And punt is out around the 50-yard line. That was an interesting punt formation there. You got to snap it over 3 guys. That wasn't easy to do.
Yeah.
I guess that could set up a possible trick play there with that one. If you see something out of that, I don't know.
So more of a modern kind of theory with the punt is that you put a couple of guys back there that you're just going to – it's not just one personal protector. And but it took a while for that punt to get off, and I think Lincoln might have gotten its hand on it. It didn't quite make it, I don't think, to the sticks.
Help me in my history books here. Lincoln Ames, we've mentioned John Kintna, Lawyer Malloy. I know Kintna's son played here as well. There's been some great play. Has there been a state championship for the Lincoln Ames in football?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Ooh, nice little shaking and baking going on right there by Eli Malafu.
Not that I am aware of. The only Tacoma State Championship that I am aware of in modern day was the back-to-back state championships with Mount Tahoma in 79-80 when Mike Vindovich was on those teams. That he eventually got a scholarship to UW and then just ended up going to PLU.
Yeah, and it's actually the first time that Mount Tahoma, I think, has been undefeated since that 1979 season. I think they went undefeated the whole way. Mm-hmm. It has been fun here tonight. Carl Hoseth joining us in the booth. Carl, former PLU Lutz football player, quarterback. His father was the defensive coordinator. And Carl, as we look back at your days at PLU, do you have a favorite Frosty Western story? I'm putting you on the spot here. I know there's so many of them through the years.
I don't know if this is my favorite, but he used to drive us in his station wagon to practice when we were going off of PLU's campus.
And to paint the picture, it was an old yellow station wagon with EMAL on the license plate.
EMAL 5 was the license plate. And we would go to get on Pacific Avenue, and instead of going to a stoplight, he would go down 118th Street and try to turn left. And it's a pretty busy street, 5 lanes, and he would just try to weave his way in. And I'd say, Frosty, why are you going down this way? Why don't you go to a light? And he said, well, Carl, a lot of people don't know about 118th Street. You go down 118th Street, a nice window opens up for you. And so I started doing that for the rest of my time at Parkland, just going to 118th and turning left.
So I've shared this story. I don't think I've ever shared it on a broadcast, but my favorite Frosty Western story was, I think, my freshman year. You guys, PLU was playing Central Washington. Speaking of John Kitna, I think it was Mark Weekley versus John Kitna at Sparks Stadium. And Lincoln with the ball, handoff there, a couple yards, 1:18 to play. Big game at Sparks Stadium. I think it was almost sold out at Sparks Stadium. PLU versus Central. I'm like Big Game Mike Perry running the camera for KCNS Channel 6 on the sidelines. It's the fourth quarter. Game is tight. I have run out of batteries. You're a freshman. You live and learn. I only brought 3 batteries. I had nothing left in the camera. So I'm basically just on the sidelines with my camera and shooting nothing because I have no batteries. All of a sudden, I think it's a tie game. Nice catch. Nice throw. Frosty Western in his megaphone yells out, Egan! Egan! And I literally thought for a second he wanted me to go in the game. And he's waving at me to come down to him. I'm like, Frosty, what do you want? He was like, come here with me, Egan, come here with me. And Frosty takes me over to the students section, and he says, Egan, point the camera at the students. Point the camera at the students. And I'm like, Frosty, I don't have any batteries. My camera doesn't work. They don't know that at all. Just point it at them. And so I point at the students, and all of a sudden he just starts going, we're live! We're live! We're live! And the students start going crazy. Sure enough, John Kitna throws an interception. PLU gets the ball. Frosty fired up the crowd. PLU goes on and wins the game.
There you go, Chris. You jinxed Central.
The more I think back of that story, Frosty's very faithful, man. He was kind of lying to the crowd.
Yeah, and a great run there by Emmanuel Jordan. He picked up 9 yards to go to 2nd and 1 here to end the third quarter, and then we're heading into the fourth.
All right, it is 34-7. Lincoln with the lead. We'll be right back for the final frame here from the historic Lincoln Bowl.
The Big Game is sponsored by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you.
The contestant stand will be closing in under 10 minutes. 10 more minutes.
All right, welcome back, everybody here. Referees are chatting. Lincoln just ran a play, got themselves in the end zone, but Carl, guess what? It's a holding. It's coming back. So basically, if you're just joining us, you missed absolutely nothing here. The King 5 Big Game of the Week brought to you by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you. Cannot thank them enough for supporting high school sports. If you know what, anybody out there supports high school sports, the young kids that are going to be the future, go support them. Hopefully, if you run a business, you can find somehow to give back to your communities, your high school. Go out and watch a game, support your kids. Chris Segan, Carl Hoseth coming to you from the historic Lincoln Bowl.
And Noah Dennis, who caught that pass, it would have been his first touchdown catch of the season.
Oh.
So that got called back. You see him on the defensive line on the other side.
Big old number 81. He may get another shot here. That's Emmanuel Jordan, and Jordan picks up a few yards right there. Finally brought down by a host of tacklers. Joaquin on the tackle, along with some others.
Noah Dennis spent middle school at Keithley Middle School.
Keithley Middle School. All right. 34-7 your score. Lincoln with the lead. 11:45 to go. It's going to be first down and 10. Ball's on about the 12-yard line, 11-yard line. Sione Cajo, quarterback for the Abes. To his left, Jadion Scranton. 3 touchdowns already on this night. He had 5 last week. Sione throws, and he's got his man in the end zone. Touchdown, Elijah Carney.
And that's the second time they've run that fade in 2 weeks to the left corner of that end zone here at Lincoln Bowl. And Elijah is about 6'2", 6'3"-ish. And so he can really go up and get it. But that one was just a nice ball thrown into the corner of the end zone.
Great throw up into the corner of the end zone. I think a lot of people thought we were going to see Scranton going in for his 4th touchdown. But great play call there from Masaki Matsumoto, showing off Sione's arm, and he's living up to the hype tonight, Carl. He is definitely a very talented quarterback. He's been fun to watch.
And we want to give credit to it's Charles Jacome who is calling the plays on the offense. Masaki's calling the defense.
Okay.
So Charles has been calling plays ever since I've been here, and has done a lot of the kind of the Mike Leach style offense, and yet he mixes in a lot more running than Mike Leach ever did.
Was he here with John? Was he here with John Kitna?
No, actually. So what is really cool and interesting, I think you mentioned it in a different segment, or maybe it was on a podcast, that Masaki was coaching in California. If you see that E60 special, he references that he wants to come. He says the Seattle area, but of course it's the 253 Tacoma, where he's going to be closer to his mom. So he references his mom as to why he's coming. But there are 3 assistants that were on his staff there in Hollywood that came with him to Lincoln. Shawls came with him, and he teaches in our Access program. Sergio is also an ESP, and then he's got another assistant that doesn't teach with us, but is here to help coach. So it's a really good connection.
One of the great things I think I've read from Coach Matsumoto was he has a little saying, and you and I know Frosty Westering had a lot of sayings back in the day, and has some very popular books with those sayings. But Matsumoto has something that's E plus R equals O, and that's E is the event, something happens in your life. R is the reaction. How do you react to that? And that equals the outcome. And basically, he talked about E being the event. He took over a Los Angeles high school football team that didn't believe, and so his reaction was make them believe, and then E, the outcome was they became a very successful team. And let's give credit, John Kitna built a really good program here as well. So, Masaki's just done a great job continuing that legacy here at Lincoln. And as we mentioned throughout this broadcast, he's not had a season here where they haven't been in the playoffs, Carl. And they're going to be heading to the state playoffs again with 11:09 to go. I mean, Mount Vernon would need a lot of things to magically happen for them to get back in this game.
change quickly. There's another penalty flag. It's on near the Mount Vernon sideline, so we'll see what that's all about.
Well, there's probably some frustration, and this is also where it's tough. I went to a high school football game last night. It wasn't a playoff game, but there was a lot of energy, and then there was a lot of emotions. And why? It was Rogers against Bonnie Lake. It was the last game of the season, and not only the last game of the season, when you think about it, Carl, less than 1% of these kids are going to go on and play college football. So for the seniors, this is it. So there could be some frustrations and some sadness on that Mount Vernon sidelines. They have had a great year. It's been a great season. But now you start thinking, oh, my gosh, it's all coming to an end. And that's hard for the kids and for the family and for the parents.
Yeah, and you never think that it's going to be the end. You're always thinking you're going to advance. You always think you're going to win, and so when it happens, and in this case when it hasn't really gone Mount Vernon's way all game, it's probably frustrating. I do want to say though, like you were referencing Masaki, and he just has really done an amazing job with his program in the spring. They have this Black Crew Challenge where there's 8 different groups of captains that have teams, and they get points based on attendance and being on class to class on time. They get points for their GPA, and then they do these early morning workouts. They get points for that and competitions, and it's so great to see how they respond and what they do in the spring and the off season.
Caden Anderson throws it. It is tipped. He was looking for Henley Lopez, and we mentioned less than 1% of these kids will go on and play in college sports. I got to tell you what, Caden Anderson has the body and the arm of a college football player in my eyes. He's a all-state catcher for Mount Vernon. Love to see this kid play at the next level. And this is a young man that loves football. Talking to Coach Jake Whitman, he comes into his offense. They watch game film together. The Mount Vernon baseball team wins the state title. They were asked to come to T-Mobile Park to celebrate that championship. Pretty much the entire team went, except that young man there, number 10. He wanted to stay back and get ready for the football season. So just a great kid, and we wish him the best of luck. And flags are all over the place. Jonathan Davis couldn't get any room right there. Jonathan Davis has had a great season as well. More than likely it'll pass interference on Lincoln on that one, Carl.
Well, it seems like where the penalty was thrown, I actually didn't see the pass interference, and that's honest. Like I was looking a little differently, yeah, and it looks like Veni Maava is hobbling off the field. So hopefully it looks maybe like a cramp, so that could be good for them because you don't want to lose someone for next week.
No, you don't. And I'll tell you this is where coaches, you got to play it smart as you get into the November. It's all about which sometimes the team that wins the state title is also the healthiest team. There was a couple Lake Stevens teams, and Tom Try's done a great job up there, and they've won a couple state titles, but they had a couple teams where I thought they were going to win it, but get some injured players late in the season, and it's tough. So it's all about can't help the club if you're in the tub. Is that the saying, I believe? All right, nice catch right there. Hunter West with the reception. Hunter West fighting for some yards. And once again, just great sportsmanship right there. I think it was number 12 for Lincoln, brought him down, but helped him right back up.
And kind of coming in at the end, number 32, Kayvon Cooks, who's coming off the field now. He is a wrestler in the winter, and Lincoln has had the last 2 years the number 3 ranked, or not ranked, they finished 3rd in the state in wrestling, and he has been a part of that wrestling program. Oddly enough, Chris, 3rd in the state 2 years in a row, 2nd in the state for wrestling, 3A, Hermiston, Oregon.
Wow.
Not even in the state of Washington, but they're 2nd in state in wrestling.
State. And I'll tell you, the powerhouse in wrestling right now. Nice run right here. That's Hunter West going south with a nice carry right there. Hunter West, and he's going to get some more yards. I think he got tapped a little bit extra there by Tyrone Jones. And Tyrone's talking to the head official, and head official's telling him just head on out of there. Twin brother Ramon Jones. There they are, the twins. One wears purple, one wears green. Mouthpiece. The Jones brothers. They've had it. I mean, Ramon Jones has played phenomenal all night long.
It looks like it's unsportsmanlike conduct, so it's another 15 yards at the end of the run.
So they're chatting things over, and kids work so hard all day, but you got to be smart, and because, it's 41-7. This isn't going to hurt them. But if you're in the state quarterfinals or state semifinals and it's 7-7, a penalty like that will cost you, and it could cost you the game and your season. So use these as learning tools for sure. First down and 10. 10 minutes to play. Referee still chatting things over here. Caden Anderson in the shotgun formation. Fakes the handoff. He throws. Good little throw right there. Incomplete. He was looking for Jonathan Davis, and Davis has been covered very tightly tonight by the Jones boys.
Yeah, and in that particular case, Kysaiah Wilson came in and I think did a nice job of hitting his arms right as the ball was coming. It was a little bit high above his helmet and helped make that an incomplete pass. So nice play by Kysaiah.
Kysaiah getting some PT as the Jones boys head at least to the sidelines for a little bit. Masaki probably wanted to just chat with them a little bit, settle them down. You've had a good night. Shotgun formation, Caden Anderson, 9:55 to play here. King 5, big game of the week. Mount Vernon trying to run, but once again, just absolutely nothing there. And Mancow has been tough tonight. I'd love to know unofficially how many tackles Mancow has tonight, because he has been stopping the run tonight.
Unofficially 9.
Nine tackles.
That's unofficial, though. That's unofficial.
Unofficial.
But he's really just been getting under pads, playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage, and making a lot of plays at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage.
All right, 3rd down and 11. Hunter West lined up behind Caden Anderson. Anderson throws. Quick throw, quick catch. Henley Lopez with a nice reception. Picks up the first down. I believe that was Jamari Byrne with the tackle for Lincoln.
Yeah, and he actually last week he's a backup DB and he's a 9th grader. But he got an interception and had a nice return near the end of the game, so he's going to be a good one in the future.
Throw and catch there, not bad there. Brady Peterson with the catch. Are you surprised or amazed at some of the sizes of these 9th graders? I mean, I remember when I was in 9th grade, I may have been 6 foot tall, but I was maybe dripping 160 pounds, Levi jeans, waist size 26. I mean, these kids nowadays, they're just monsters, Carl.
Yeah, size, but also the skill. Like it just feels like there's even when I was coaching basketball and Spanaway Lake was a 10 through 12 school, like it was odd that I was going to be playing a sophomore full time, and now it's just all the time you got 9th graders playing.
Nice throw, nice catch, touchdown Mount Vernon. Great little hookup right there, and that was nice. Caden Anderson with the great throw, and Mount Vernon down, but not giving up yet, and that was Caden Sokol. Caden Sokol, a member of the baseball team, 3.2 GPA and higher. He's got a nice star next to his name. A great little athlete there. Caden Sokol with the touchdown catch for Mount Vernon. Good little throw there. I like that. Caden Anderson looked good on that one, Carl.
Yeah, I think they'd been kind of setting up some things. False start.
I said nothing on the other.
Yeah, I think, looked like they were they're kind of trying to do the old, whatever they call it, the swinging gate that you don't see as much with PATs, but so they moved over there. A few guys ended up moving before the ball was snapped, so now they're 5 yards back, You would assume they would kick the PAT. But, yeah, I think on offense what they were trying to do is I couldn't see if it was a double move or a hitch and go, but they've been throwing a lot of things kind of underneath, and then they were able to get just behind the safety.
All right, the kick is up, and the kick is good. So with 7:54 to go, Lincoln Abe still lead this one pretty comfortably. 41-14 is your score. More than likely, the Abe's are going to come out and run the ball and take away some of that clock right now, Carl.
Yeah, and they've had success on the ground and through the air, so we'll see who's back in there. I don't know if it'll end up being J.T. Williams or if it'll be Emmanuel Jordan. J.D. on Scranton has had a big game with quite a few yards and 3 touchdowns.
Do you expect to see Sione on this drive?
So let's see. Yeah, it appears like his backup is warming up here and throwing it to Sione. Sione's giving him the shotgun, helping him out with the shotgun on the sideline and then catching for him. So, yeah, I'm guessing that his night's probably over.
Backup quarterback is a sophomore, Carter
Alderette,
Carter Alderette, sophomore, number 33. Could be getting some playing time tonight in the playoffs. So we'll see what Masaki decides to do, if he'll decide he's seen enough from his starting quarterback.
It looks like he's going to go in.
All right, so with a 41-14 lead, head coach Masaki Matsumoto has seen enough of Sione Kaho. He's had a great night, feels very comfortable with that lead, and why not? It's time to play it safe and put your starter on the sidelines and get him rested up for the next week.
And you do always worry about, like, an injury late in the game if you're going to move on. And Sione hasn't run a lot, but every time he runs, you kind of get worried that, somebody hits him low or. Oh.
Well, the little nerves on that first one, but it ends up working out okay because that's J.T. Williams. And J.T., wow. That went from near disaster to. And there's. The thing you don't want is a fumble there, and they take it down, and that will get you out of the game in a hurry there.
Yeah, for sure. And it, kind of bounces off the chest, and the handoff is sort of like a scoop. Here you go. And that was an impressive run by JT. He got through a few defenders and then just wouldn't go down.
He may need him, maybe buy him some Chipotle tomorrow, JT, for helping him out of that one right there. Extra protein. All right, another handoff. And another run. And more than likely, you're going to see this clock just start winding down on this cold, rainy night in Tacoma. It's been heated up on the ground from the Lincoln Abe's rushing attack. The J.D. on Scranton. 3 touchdowns on the night. J.T. Williams has a touchdown on the night. Elijah Carney with a touchdown reception. Eli Malafu also with a touchdown reception back in the second quarter. You add it all up together, that's 41 points. Mount Vernon with a couple touchdown throws. Second down at 8, 6:30 to go here, fourth quarter. Handoff Williams. Williams, great run. Looks like 72 is going to try to get out of the game. Looks like he got hit pretty good on the hand there, Carl. That's like you want to stay healthy in these games if you can. That's Julian Symbol Archie, I believe.
Yep.
Cold night. In a lot of these playoff games, you'll see a few more Fridays next week, but you'll start to see a lot of these games move into Saturday nights as the playoffs move on.
That happened with us last year as Central Valley of Spokane, that was the opponent, and it just made more sense for them to come over and play on a Saturday than have to leave sometime early on a Friday and just spend the night Friday before. So yeah, especially if you're traveling over the mountains.
And speaking of that, a shout out and a good luck to all the runners out there across the great state of Washington. The state cross-country championships are tomorrow. Always a fun event. That's on the east side of the mountains over in Pasco on a golf course. But it's just really an amazing event. So many runners in one place. So the state championships tomorrow for the cross-country kids. So good luck to all them tomorrow, and hopefully safe travels to everybody making the trip over there to watch those runners tomorrow. And then after that, you get into the volleyball state championships will be taking place. So a lot of action here as the fall sports season starting to wrap up. All right, handoff. Number 30 with the carry. Nice run right here. And this is what I like, Carl, when some of these kids get in the game that haven't been playing all season. They want to show coach, hey, I can play too. Great little run there.
Yeah. We got Jakari Lovelace and some physical running, and you know, I think Carter is a little shorter than Sione, but the ball keeps getting snapped, and he's having to get on his tippy toes and catch it above his helmet, but really moving the ball nicely on the ground.
Jakari Lovelace trying to make the King 5 highlights tonight. There's a chance he can get in there, Carl. Jakari Lovelace. Will he get the carry here? First and goal, 4:13 to play. Lincoln moving down the field with a rush and high snap again. Lovelace loving life right now. Flag down. Big game engineer Eric. He's my new flag spotter. He's all over it. And I think if there's anything, if you're Lincoln, you'd look back at it. I think that's really the only, if there's a negative, Carl, it's just maybe too many penalties tonight, but they played a pretty smooth ball game tonight.
Yeah, I think a lot of penalties, but there's been also a lot of positive on the ground. There's been a lot of positive through the air, and a number of different guys that have contributed too. So yeah, definitely a lot of holding calls. However, there's been some good protection. I don't think Sione really has been pressured. There's no sacks or anything like that.
All right, first and goal. They sort out the penalties. Lovelace, your running back at the moment. And he gets the carry, and Lovelace powering his way down to about the 7-yard line. So we've seen Scranton with 3 rushing touchdowns. J.T. Williams has a rushing touchdown. We saw a little bit of Emmanuel Jordan tonight. And now Lovelace taking over for the Abes.
Yeah, and it is nice, like you said, Chris, that some of the guys haven't really played a ton in varsity action. So this is probably as many carries as Lovelace has had all season.
We talked about your national championships at PLU, or your national championship in the title game 2 other years. Favorite high school moment for you?
Ooh. Well,
after this lovely
Carter kept it.
Oh, big shot right there. Jesus Montoya coming in, laying a licking right there on Carter.
Well, I would say, Chris, that my senior year we ended up playing Peninsula for the league championship, which was the first league championship in Washington's history, Washington High School. And it was on grass field, so it was kind of muddy, and it was really exciting. And back then, I got a concussion the week before, and then they just kind of like, you're good, right? Like this next week. So I played the next week, and but it was fun to win the league championship.
I didn't even know the word concussion was invented back then when you were playing, but nice. And how about that? Carter's having some fun now after that first misread on the snap. You can feel he's getting comfortable out there.
Yeah, and down to the 1, so now it's 4th and goal from the 1.
So who gets it here, Carter or Jakari?
Well, I think Carter is able to make that decision. Like it's probably a zone read here, and so he makes the choose to pull it himself and see if he could score.
Let's see.
Or maybe we'll see what happens.
Who brought the coach cookies this morning? They may be getting the carry, Carl.
He was getting a lot of cheers from the players as they were going to the cafeteria as we kind of pivoted to do the interview kind of near the parking lot. A lot of the players were excited he was getting interviewed by you. Yeah.
So it looks like they're going to take a quick time out here, and that gives us time to kind of look ahead. Carl Hoseth, Chris Egan, King 5 Big Game of the Week. It has been fun. As we look back at this game, Lincoln Apes look like they are hit. We talked to Masaki before the game, Carl, and he said, you know what, it's been a roller coaster season. They've had 3 losses. He wasn't going to hide that fact. But he said we're peaking at the right time, and that's all that matters, really, as you head into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think the defense has gotten better and better. They've really played well that way. I think offensively they've kind of been able to mix and match with the run and the pass. And so, I mean, they're my favorite team, Chris. So it's and I tell the kids, they're like, are you coming to the game? And I said, I have season tickets. And I don't think they know what that means, that it's season tickets, but I try to make, every game, and it's fun to watch them. And I'm hoping they can keep it going.
Well, and that's pretty cool stuff to hear you, say that, because not only are you giving to these kids every day during the school, but you're here for their extracurricular activities. So pretty cool stuff. So final moments here from the field, and here we go. 4th and goal. Who will get the carry for Lincoln? Direct snap, and that is a touchdown.
J.D. on Scranton for number 4.
Scranton was he somebody starting him on their fantasy team, Carl? What happened there?
That's the short yardage play there, where he gets the direct snap. But
so maybe they just wanted to test some things out there for the next round of the playoffs. A direct snap, see how it works. I know Masaki very well. He's not trying to rub anything in on the Mount Vernon side, but that's a 4th touchdown. But I just got to tell you, if I'm Lovelace, I'm like, come on.
Got it to the half-yard line.
I mean, this is like, I feel like Carl, and when I played for Puyallup, and Damon Hewitt had 44 points, and we're up by 20, like, Coach, can't I get a lay-in here? No, keep passing the ball to Hewitt. You can do your job. All right. So, Scranton, 4 touchdowns. You're telling me he had 5 last week?
Yeah.
So 9 touchdowns in 2 weeks.
9 in 2 weeks, at least. That's unofficial. But,
no, that's official.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's official. I'm like, yes, he had 5 last week. So let's put it all together there.
So he as Coach said, he's peaking at the right time right now.
Yeah, and he's had a number of touchdowns here in the weeks just prior to that as well. So I'd actually really love to know how many he's had in the last month or 4 weeks.
Well, it's nice to have a hot running back as you head into the cold month of November playoff football. Obviously, there's rain tonight. It's settled down. Who knows what the temperature is going to be next Friday or Saturday from here on out. There's a chance, if you're one of these teams that moves on, you may have to head east of the mountains. You may have to play in some snowy conditions in Spokane or in the Tri-Cities. You never know. So when you can have a run game and an offensive line, that helps a lot. And the Lincoln Apes have shown that they can do it from the air and the ground.
And, you also I was talking to Sione about, throwing in the rain. And, years ago, it wasn't even something that we would practice or try to, prepare for. And I think in some ways balls are a little bit more equipped to be able to be caught and thrown in the rain. But he had no problem throwing in the rain or throwing a wet ball. Whoa.
I love the days of the Nerf footballs. You throw those things a mile, but when they get wet, you squeeze the water out of them and
get pretty heavy.
Well, they would. Builds up that arm strength, Carl.
And then some people would pick at a certain part of the Nerf ball, and then there'd be a little divot or kind of a hole.
I'm disappointed that kids nowadays, they don't play a lot of the Nerf hoops. I had a Nerf hoop in I played that thing through high school, and my kids aren't into that. Yeah. They don't eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That's what I had for dinner tonight. It's just I don't know. They all want Chipotle double protein. I'll tell you what double protein is: a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, top ramen on the side if you're lucky. All right, here comes Caden. Throws it, wings it. And this is where it's hard if you're on those Mount Vernon sidelines right now, Carl. This is 37 seconds for the senior class. Now, if you're a junior, sophomore, or freshman on that Mount Vernon team, you're coming off a great season, should be energized for next year, but always tough right now for the senior class. For many of these kids, this will be their final 20 seconds of their football career. We wish the best to some of these guys to go on and play. Good throw right there. Look at that catch. Caden Anderson's going down with a fight. And a nice throw right there and a nice catch. And that's his favorite target all season long. So pretty special there. Jonathan Davis, Caden Anderson ending things in style. And they'll have time for probably one more play here.
Yeah, 6 seconds generally is you can get one play. When you're this close, I suppose it's possible if there's an incompletion or you're right at the sideline that you could get into.
Well, Carl, I want to say thank you as time is winding down for joining us in the booth, and thanks to everybody that's joined us this season, from Todd Millis to John Manley, Jason Puckett. We've had endless amounts of people that have been in the booth with us throughout the year at different games. 48-14. Lincoln is going to move on, and once again, we won't know until Sunday on who they're going to play. And that is going to be the end of the game, and there it is. That's a final. 48-14. Some other folks that have joined us in the booth. Sean Wally joined us up at the Lake Stevens Glacier Peak game. And we're going to say our goodnights and say our thank yous to everybody. Carl Hoseth, congratulations. The Lincoln A's are moving on. First off, congratulations to Mount Vernon. Back in the playoffs for the first time since 2019. Back into the state playoffs. The Lincoln A's. We won't find out once again until Sunday who they're going to play, but they're looking pretty good as they head into the final 16.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see who we play, and we've hosted this next round the last 3 years. It's possible that we have to go on the road, and we'll see what happens with that. But like you said, I think that we're peaking at the right time, and there's some good mixture with the run and the pass.
King 5 peaking at the right time. Get in here, Big Game Eric and Ryan. Come on, get in. Big Game Mike is behind us here. And we got Olivia. We got Kip back in the booth. So many people have been making this happen every Friday night. Can't thank them enough. Phillips Law Firm, King 5 TV, news director Susanna Frame has just been all over this. Julie Wolf was before that. Christy Moreno, our general manager, says go out there, have some fun with high school sports. Tony White, King 5 Sports executive producer. Joel Knipp, Ariel Orsuto, the maestro, as I call him, Paul Sylvia. There he is, Mike Perry right there, one of the best in the business right there on the Big Game camera. We'll have highlights of this game for you coming up tonight at 10 and 11 for Kip back in the station, Olivia. It has been fun. The Lincoln A's, they're moving on into the state playoffs. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you're looking for high school sports, there's only one TV station in the state of Washington, at least on the west side. That's King 5 TV. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.
The Big Game is sponsored by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you.